In this episode, we're going to talk about my prediction of the David Lemieux-Curtis Stevens fight. Welcome to the DO Boxing Show. I'm your host, Dameon Okposio. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. If you've seen some of my recent posts, and I did a contest for fight tickets for the David Lemieux-Curtis Stevens fight. And so I have a lot of interest in this fight. It's going to be an amazing fight. 6 degrees of separation with David Lemieux. I was sponsoring a young gentleman by the name of Donald Wombault, very talented amateur fighter. Who no longer fights but coaches from time to time and works, but he had actually fought David Lemieux as an amateur, and I think it was during the Quebec Cup. So I've been watching David Lemieux since the amateurs. Very proud of the fact that he represents Canada extremely well. So David Lemieux, born in Montreal. He's got a fight coming up on March the 11th this year, 2017. I did a contest giving away tickets, and ironically it went to an American that ended up winning the contest. Yeah, David Lemieux, March 11th. And my prediction for the fight, so looking at both Curtis Stevens and David Lemieux, I'm going to give you a little bit of background if you don't know about either of these fighters. So both of these fighters fought the king of their division in the middleweight division, which is Gennady Golovkin, and they both Stevens and Lemieux, I would say, are two of the hardest punchers in their division, fighting Gennady Golovkin, who is also another powerful puncher, plus a boxer with an incredible amateur background as well. Now, coming to both the Stevens and Lemieux fight, the last loss for Lemieux, who is 36-3 with 32 knockouts, was Golovkin. But the last loss for Curtis Stevens was Hassan Nadam. And Hassan Nadam at that time was 30-1. He's a really good fighter, Hassan Nadam. Good boxing ability, but Hassan Nadam was beaten by David Lemieux. So they have not a lot, but they have a couple of common opponents in Golovkin and Nadam. They were both stopped by Golovkin, and they're both powerful punchers in their own right. Curtis Stevens, I know him as the chin checker, but he lists his nickname as the Cerebral Assassin, which I think is a cool nickname. And Curtis Stevens is 29-5 with 21 knockouts. Again, both of them have power. Both of them have good boxing ability. Curtis Stevens, as an amateur, was a light heavyweight, and 2002 he won the U.S. light heavyweight title. David Lemieux, good amateur, was thinking about going to the Olympics, I think the Beijing Olympics, 3-time national champion, and again, a very good amateur. David Lemieux started his pro career very young, and I think that, number one, David Lemieux is still coming up to his prime. As good as he is, and the good opponents he's fought, I think he's just getting closer into his prime right now. Like earlier in his career, he lost to good fighters like Joshua Malsine, but when you look at his resume, in the latter half of his career, he's been fighting better opponents and doing better, which shows that I think he's maturing into his professional style. Maybe the chemistry is really good. I know he had great chemistry with Russ Amber, but he's with Mark Ramsey now. Maybe that chemistry is awesome. So Lemieux is a guy that is, he's growing, and I would say still has potential, even though he's been a champion and has, you know, almost 40 fights. So that's why I would give David Lemieux a slight edge in the upcoming fight with him and Curtis Stevens. They're both hard punchers, and when you have two heavy hitters that are very confident in their power, you know, anybody that hits each other can go. But I would put my money on David Lemieux winning the fight and winning by stoppage. I would say late in the fight. Again, both have good amateur pedigree. Both are durable fighters. Both, even though both have been stopped, I think both have faced good opponents that have tagged them. And I think that either of them can go if they do get tagged by each other. But I believe that David Lemieux is going to win this fight probably maybe around the 10th round. You know, when endurance starts to be a big factor. And I think the power and pressure of Lemieux is going to weigh down on Curtis Stevens. Curtis Stevens is a little bit of a slow starter, and he does gain momentum as he's going along. As long as Lemieux doesn't get careless, he wins the fight by stoppage in around the 10th round. That is my prediction. Leave your predictions in the comment section on the YouTube channel, which would be awesome. I enjoy reading all the comments that are out there. And thanks again for watching and tuning into our channel. So remember, you can ask us any questions related to boxing by sending us a message through Twitter at DOKPOSIO, through email okposio@hotmail.com, and don't forget to subscribe through YouTube by going to Dameon Okposio to get every episode of the DO Boxing Show. Thanks for tuning into this episode, and we'll catch you on the next one.